Welcome back at your boy, Fat Artist. Back again with another BFF. This one's kind of special. This is a weird one because me and your boy Jennifer, I mean Stoney, have never actually met until 5 minutes ago.
That's pretty
So
wild.
it's kind of nuts. I've never done a BFF with somebody that I didn't know like for a long time. So
Really? So I'm the first. Like
you're the
we're
first
crossing.
you're the first like guess. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I'll consider myself a pioneer then.
You
It's
are a
one more
pioneer.
notch on the belt.
Fucking plant that fucking flag, bro. Like, so Stoney is the head honcho over at SoBro's network, covering all things Nashville. I would say, honestly, you are the Nashville hub for shit that people want to know. I think, and
Appreciate that, man. We work hard.
fuck yeah, and you have oh man, so we're going back to them American Eagles, you know what I'm saying? them fucking flying high A's, you know what I'm saying? Them Anheuser Bushes.
Yeah, we got the old Bud Light.
Old Bud Light, big ass whole face long can, you know what I'm saying?
This feels like I'm drinking out of a cinder block or something.
I know, god damn, I could knock somebody out with this thing. Like,
and it's not good.
Jesus.
Can I just say that up front?
You know what? You do you say what you want to say. And Bud Light, we're going to throw it back. This is a whole thing. Anheuser-Busch, this whole world of theirs is highly ingrained, as I've showed you before the show. This iguana that is Bud type.
That's
life.
A keepsake. That's a
right
treasure.
Here. This is a treasure, honestly. I actually really love it. And it even has like the cabin. The cabin's not even fucked up. Like, if you weren't around in the 90s for these commercials, you fucked up. Like, you missed out. Like, go ahead and check that out on YouTube. But yeah, it's been a I just learned this just now, but it's been a thing for my family with the capital A, but also for yours. So why don't you introduce this blue bullet right here for me, and we'll get it going.
When you asked me to pick a beer that was special to me, I just kept racking my brain because I kept thinking of beers that were my favorites, like the Yazoo Gerst, the Jackalope, Bear Walker, anything that Cigar City puts out. I love Cigar City.
Oh my,
Cronenberg.
Oh my God. Bro, you're speaking my languages right now. You know what I'm saying? The Cronenbergs. Hold on. Did you listen? Hold on. I feel like you're sneaking on some shit. Like, hold on. Have you heard the Cronenberg Blanc?
Oh because of your show.
No way.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I love you for this. Okay,
so
we're gonna be best friends. Let's go.
And then Brittany hit me up about it, and so I watched the clip and was like, or no, she did the drinking really cool beers thing that we posted on socials, but she gave you a shout out for recommending the beer to her. And then I found it at ML Rose out here in Mount Juliet and was like, no way, what a small world. This beer was just in my brain, and now here it is for me to try. I love it. I like Shipyard Pumpkinhead too, but I just kept thinking like, yeah, those are probably my favorite beers. But you say the word special, and I just keep coming back to Bud Light because, like you alluded to, just all these memories of my family, my father, and just kind of growing up in the South, where I don't know if you would agree or not, but there's almost like a culture around Budweiser and Bud Light. Like, it's just a part of the fabric of society in Tennessee.
You do got a point. So it's weird though. Like, I'm not from the South. I'm a South transplant. So
yeah.
But true. I completely agree with you. And I think there's different sections of the South that kind of like they fuck with different kinds of Budweiser. Like, I'm like a Budweiser person, Bud Light person. I'm like one of these Bud flavored persons, like lime, orange, whatever the bullshit. But we're talking like this blue bullet. This a 4.2, 110 calorie if you buy the 12 ounce. It's not a 12 ounce. No. And there's not much shit in it, bro. Water, barley, rice, hops. That's it.
That's it. That's it. Why mess with success? I mean, you know, they sell 1 million of these things every week. So
all the time. And it's like,
yeah.
it's not a beer. I'm glad you chose it, honestly, because like it's I love it when people choose beers that I'm like, fuck that beer. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I think that's most of the time, like most of the BFF episodes we've done, it were like beers I'm not gonna buy. But like just for the regular, you know, like you said before,
Yeah.
that's like if you bought a 6-pack of this, it was gonna sit in your fridge forever. Like,
yeah.
same here. Like it's not gonna get drank.
I felt bad picking it. And honestly, it was Brittany that convinced me to just go for it, because I told her, I was like, I keep coming back to Bud Light, and I feel like I don't want to put that man through an episode on Bud Light where we got to talk about this and drink it for a little bit. But
No.
you know, it's just like those memories for me of growing up in the type of family that, like, you go to the cookouts and somebody asks you, do you want a beer? And you just get a Bud Light. Like, there's no options. It's just beer. Beer equals Bud Light in this family. And you know, I think of my dad. I lost my father in 2014, and up until the day he died, I think that man drank a 6-pack of Bud Light every day. And he was a painter, so he did custom auto work, body work, stuff like that on cars. He painted signs, that sort of thing. And I can just remember those like summer days when I would be helping him at his shop, and it'd be 100 degrees outside, and there's no air conditioning in the paint booth, and we're just working all day. And then at the end of the day, we're getting a 6-pack of Bud Light. This is like, you know, refreshment. And he's teaching me how to pitch quarters out behind the shop and that sort of thing. So in a way, like, I see this like blue branding and the Bud Light logo and everything, and I still feel that connection to my father even after all those years of him being gone. So that's why, like, for me, when I say it's special to me, I don't think the beer's worth a shit. I think it tastes like somebody drank a real beer and then burped it into a LaCroix or something. But I'm so connected to the brand because of my father, because of my extended family, that I just can't help but have those fond memories whenever I see it.
Mm-hmm. Nah, dude. I love that. And, sorry about your dad's.
Appreciate that.
That's dope though. And I feel like I'm going to have a very similar story, but instead of a blue can, it's going to be a red can when that time comes. Mm-hmm. So, Anheuser-Busch represent, you know what I'm saying? There's my last name's artist. I've very much thought about getting this A tattooed to me. Very much.
There you go.
For a long time. And it might happen. It'd be slick as fuck. I think it'd be dope.
Yeah.
But no, dude, I completely agree. You know what? We didn't do on this episode yet. Oh shit. I was like sneaking some, but
oh man, see, I opened mine because you had the glass, and I thought, well, shit, he's already drinking, so I got to catch up.
I saw, on between us, you know what I'm saying, and the rest of whoever's listening. Yeah, I saw a Bud Light. What was it? Bud Light, Platinum or some shit.
The Bud Light Platinum, yeah.
And I was like, oh no, was it Platinum? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck it was, but I was like, oh yeah, it was. I was like, I never had this shit before. Like, might as well try it. But that was what was in the can before, so in the glass before. Anyway.
I've had the Platinum stuff, but I honestly, man, I can't tell a difference between any of it.
That's what I'm saying. Like in college, when it's funny. When I was in college, I was like, my whole family's like a Bud heavy family, right? For the most part. And when we were in college, the Bud Light, what was it called? Like, it wasn't Platinum, it wasn't Select, it was like Bud Black or some shit.
I can see the branding. About? I can see the branding in my head, but I can't.
It was like a heavier Bud Heavy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like a 6.0 or some shit.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's my shit. And like people would check on me. I grew up in Memphis. From New York, but grew up in Memphis. So people would check the shit out of me. Like, what the fuck are you buying this bullshit for? Like, blah, blah, blah. And like, you know, he did that Memphis shit on me. So I was like,
Yeah.
you know, fuck you. I'm doing this.
I can remember talking about like a sort of culture shock. My fiance is from New Jersey. I mean, they're like 45 minutes out of New York City. So they're up there. And her dad came down to visit one time, and we ended up at this like beer joint in Knoxville. I can't even remember the name of the place, but you walk in and it's one of those places that has like the little sawhorse on the floor with like the knob sticking out where you can go practice your damn bull roping in the middle of the bar and stuff. And I remember him like looking around and looking back at us and saying like, am I going to get my ass kicked if I don't order a Budweiser in this place?
Yeah.
It's like,
no, yeah, probably.
That's the culture. That's the culture of Budweiser.
Yeah, you're completely right, bro. And it's funny. It's like, there's a couple different like subsects of this, I think, and we can dig into it if you want, but I think just making the statement is enough. But there's like, you got your like 4 subsects, right? You got your Bud Heavy, you got your Bud Light, you got your Milwaukee's Best,
yes,
right, and then you got your Coors people. Like, and they'll buy whatever Coors fucking puts out. So, but you know, most people don't realize that Coors puts out a bunch of shit that's not just Coors. Also, dopest canning or dopest factory I've ever seen. Their tanks outside of their factory in California are the fucking Coors cans.
No way.
Swear to God.
What a
and
gimmick.
It's the coolest shit.
That's
go ahead
awesome.
Go ahead and drive down the 210 into the fucking desert and you'll see that shit. It's pretty cool. But anyways, so Stoney Keeley. What is SoBro's network?
Oh man, it's kind of hard to explain because I feel like we do so much. It's almost easier for me to explain like how we make money than it is for me to explain like the identity of what the brand is. But we have a website and we write content. We record podcasts, we do videos, and then, you know, we sell advertising, we sell subscriptions to premium content, and we make our own t-shirts and sell like collectibles. I've got like my action figure collection that I'm listing online and all kinds of shit that we do. I've always had a really hard time framing what we do because this whole thing was born out of my desire to just kind of create whatever the fuck I wanted to without having to listen to an editor, without having to adhere to any sort of style guideline or anything like that. If I wanted to say something, I wanted to say it and put it out in the world. So the byproduct of that is a website that has just an overwhelming variety of content. There's all kinds of stuff from, like you mentioned earlier, like the Nashville reviews, Nashville news. We're a local blog. We cover a lot of stuff going on around here. I cover Nashville sports, specifically SEC football, the Tennessee Titans. We've got a film critic. We've got Brittany that's doing some of the lifestyle stuff, the beer reviews, all sorts of stuff like that. So it's, I mean, we're a content company. We're an internet company.
Love that. So hi. All right. So let me hit you with this. This is pretty topical at the point at the moment, right? How you feeling about that Fast and Furious honky tonk drift right now?
That Fast and Furious honky tonk drift?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You're gonna have to clue me.
That shit that just happened on Sunday, yesterday.
Oh, the Grand Prix.
Exactly. The honky tonk drift. You know what I'm saying?
Honky tonk drift. That's, man, they missed a big branding opportunity there. That shit's gold. That's fire.
Yeah. You can that
was pretty wild to see though. Like, we just turned it on yesterday when we got back from lunch. I'm like, man, these motherfuckers are really doing like 100 miles an hour across the damn bridge.
Over a bridge, bro.
Yeah,
bro. All right, straight up, I don't care what the fuck you're doing and who you are. That is fucking nuts. Like,
yeah,
going that fast. I read this shit on Tennessee and said they could get up to 185 miles per hour over a bridge.
Man, and the way that thing's like got an arch to it, If you're
Hell
going
no.
up, you're gonna catch wind. It's just gonna send one of those motherfuckers into the Cumberland. They're not
That's
careful.
what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, these motherfuckers going swimming for sure. Hope they got an ejector seat, fucking speed racer in it. Shit. Yeah, I was tripping about that, but oh man, I don't know. Yeah. Speaking of B, me and B worked on some stuff before. I don't like talking about like work, you know what I'm saying? But like we worked on some shit before, and we had B on some stuff. It's kind of funny. So stay tuned after this. This is kind of funny. But
why do I feel like you're about to say something that you're not supposed to say? Give me that vibe.
You know, that's usually how it happens with me. But next weekend, or this upcoming weekend, I guess, Brittany is going to, well, she said she's going to record her Brittany's brew review for the rest of the year in one go.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So 4 beers.
I don't doubt it at all. That's the thing. Like, I don't doubt it at all.
It's fucking sorry if you never met Brittany, and probably none of you have, but Brittany's not a big human, you know. She's kind of small. So but the funny thing is, Tony, I get to pick the beers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so she's fucked. You know, she's fucked. So you know, RIP Brittany. Have fun with that.
It's been a good run.
It's been a good run. Yeah, go ahead and check for her content every 6th of the month. We post on the 6th, 12th, 18th, and 24th. So, you know, anytime you're drawing your beer, you should think of us. But
there it is. That's also good to have that scheduled down, though, man. Like, people don't, like, content creators don't realize how much just that sort of consistency and letting people know that at this time, this date, there's going to be something there from us for you to consume. Like, it builds that anticipation, and that's how you kind of hook people in. People know, hey, there's a regular cadence to these things. They can look forward to it.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, it's, you know, that's all over YouTube and all those everything. Yeah. People are always talking about you need to have a regular schedule, but you know, it's just like, I come from, I guess some people are, if you're not in a like, I don't know, a normal job, right? I guess you could call it. But I come from a background of like a creative job. So I worked in entertainment for a really long time.
Right on.
And those jobs, like, it was TV shows and movies and stuff. And those jobs they're not regular. So it's, you know, you work a month and a half or whatever, and then you're off for like a couple weeks, maybe. Like, if you're lucky, you have something back to back to back to back, but that is very rare.
So how do you get by in that situation, if you don't mind me asking? Like, do you go ahead and try to get something lined up when you know the end date is approaching, or do you just
well, you know, the fucking foreground on this, you can ask whatever you want. Like, this is open territory for anything. Anything enough. You want to watch on this show, anything you want to say in this show is open ground. Like, fucking go for it.
There we go.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird industry. So I'm sure, you know, you're good friends with Brittany. So it's like, when I moved to Nashville, I was kind of like freaked out. Like, my wife had a solid job, and we moved here because of that. And I was cool with what I had done. I would, at the point when we left, I was associate producing TV, and I was like, I'm cool with this. Like, everything I see above this is kind of shit. Like, everyone's pretty depressed and just pissed off all the time. Like, that's not me. That's not my personality. So
yeah,
I was like, fuck that. That depresses me. And I'm cool with where I'm at. So
sure,
if you want to dip out, like, let's do this. And I swear to you, not even a couple weeks later, she comes back to me and she's like, yo, I found a job. It's in Nashville. We leave in like a month. And I was like, fuck. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Get your bags ready.
It's like sick. Let's do this. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I moved to Nashville, I was like, oh fuck, like this is scary. Like, I don't know like where my skill set falls. Cause like I worked like normal jobs before well all the way I've been working since I was 15, so or 16, and like solidly, and
Yeah, sure.
so I worked up until when I was at a high school. Me and my homeboy Adam, who um we do a show called Dropping the Needle. Go check that out. It's pretty sick. We just did an episode about Outcast, and we went to Bonnaroo in 2006. So it was only like 4 years old. Bonnaroo was, and Radiohead was performing. Right, they were
Nice.
headlining this. It was, dude, fucking amazing. God damn.
That sounds like a weekend right there.
Oh my god, dude, we were fucking lobsters, my dude. like straight up. You know what? Let me trip you out on this weekend. This weekend was fucked. Like straight up, top to bottom. We are in 1 week. Okay, let me hit you with this. In 1 week, we went to Bonnaroo with my mom's car, which was a shit car. And like this car will fucking overheat in like a second. So
Yeah.
we had to leave in the middle of the night so this bitch wouldn't overheat in the sun. And then when we were in the line to get into fucking Bonnaroo, we had to turn the bitch off and like wait.
Oh man.
And
yeah,
like
because that traffic's nuts.
It's nuts, bro. And then like so we go to Bonnaroo and we see this whole show. Like it's just the two of us. And we're both planning on applying to FedEx when we get back. So we couldn't do any drugs or like, get fucked up, whatever. It's kind of a bummer, honestly, looking back at it. We could have probably detoxed at the time. But we were 18 and we were like, fuck it, whatever. It doesn't matter. And we go ahead and do that. And then this is June 2006. Okay. And so the weekend ends and I'm looking at my phone. This is like, or what if I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at, but anyway, Warp Tour, Vans Warp Tour is coming through Nashville.
Yeah,
a week after Bonnaroo. And I'm like, fuck, bro, we should go to that. Like, we should go for sure. And like, we should make a whole week of this shit. And his mom had this thing where like she would pay for, or like they would do like a thing for like each one of their kids like graduation through high school. So like his brother and his sister both went on cruises.
Okay.
And Adam was like, fuck that, I've been on a cruise. I don't want to do that. And his thing was like, yo, ma, let me go to this music festival. And his mom was like, nah, fuck that, you can't go on a music festival. And he was like, all right, cool, well, what if I brought a friend, like, we tag team this thing. And she was like, all right, cool. Keep in mind, this was 1 week before Bonnaroo.
Oh man.
And I was like, he calls me up. Me and Adam have been homeboys for a long time, and he's like, hey, bro, you want to go to this shit called Bonnaroo next weekend? And I was like, yeah, I'm down. Let's go. And he's like, all right, cool. Well, you got to drive. And
oh, shit.
We gotta, I don't got any camping shit. So we got to figure that out.
Damn.
I was like,
in a week,
bro. Yeah. I was like, sick, bro. I got camping shit. Let's go. And I got a call. I was snag my mom's. And so we ended up going, and the car lasted, whatever. And we go to the fucking Bonnaroo. It's amazing. We get fucking roasted. Like, like
yeah.
No one under 25 knows what sunscreen is. So we get fucking roasted.
Yeah.
And when we're done with it, we're like, shit, okay. Well, maybe we should kick it in Nashville because we talked to his mom and his mom was like, oh, yeah, cool. I'll buy the tickets. Like, here you go for Warped Tour. Like, do that too while you're there.
That's awesome.
Hits us up with a hotel. I was like, dude, this is the dopest shit. Like, hell yeah. Keep in mind, his mom's paying for this whole thing. Like,
that's living back in the day,
right,
man.
Right.
That's living.
Bonner is not cheap, bro.
No, I've never been. And,
Oh,
and that's why, because I look at the ticket prices. I'm like, no, I can't do that.
I've been 5 times and it's never the ticket. The hit of the ticket is never chill, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, we go to Bonner the first time and then we wait in the hotel and we're waiting. I think Warped Tour is like a couple days later, like 2 days later or some shit. And so we go to this hotel and we're like, fuck, bro, we're just lobstered right now. And maybe we should go and explore Nashville or something. So we go and explore and we come back to the hotel and there's all these buses in the hotel, like in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what the hell is this? And this is when they had that auditorium out in like in between Nashville and Franklin. Or no,
Starwood.
It was at Starwood.
Yeah, that was out in the Antioch area.
Yeah. So we were like, all right, like we were somewhere. I don't know where the fuck we were. But anyway, we were at this hotel and all these buses like packed the parking lot. We were pissed. We are like, what the fuck? Like there's no parking spots anymore. Like, what the fuck? And so we park eventually. We're all pissed off and stuff. We walk into the hotel and fucking Joan Jett is standing in the lobby.
And Are you like, kidding me?
Not kidding. And she's not just Joan Jett. She's standing with the whole No Effects crew, like all of them. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like Joan Jett is a very recognizable person. Like you walk in, you're like, oh, all right. Like,
you're not second guessing that, you know.
No, you're like, oh, I was like, bruh. Like I turned to my boy Adam. I'm like, bruh, is that fucking Joan Jett right now? And he's like, yeah, for sure. And so we ended up learning that half of Warped Tour was staying at the hotel we were at.
Dude, that's nuts.
It was crazy.
So did you actually get to meet Joan Jett? Did you meet anybody cool?
No, because we were tripping. We were only 18. So we're like, we're kind of nervous still, but like we saw them around like a few times. And I feel like we rode the elevator with somebody. It was some shit like, you know, like young kid shit. You're like, oh, wow, this is crazy. But this is like in the time of flip phones. Like you couldn't take no pictures with nobody. So it was like we ran into somebody at the local mall or some shit. Like, and like said, what's up? But it was like, it was weird shit like that. It was, you know, shit you can't post now, you know?
No, you just, that shit was like urban legends back in the day. Like I had a homeboy that goes to Rivergate Mall on Friday night and comes back to school on Monday. And he's like, man, I saw a young buck at Rivergate Mall. And you just had to take their fucking word for it.
Yeah.
No way to prove it, because you couldn't take pictures and stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
It was pretty wild.
That was the thing. And like, I had some homies that from back in high school at the time. I was like, yo, you motherfuckers need to come to this hotel right now. And they were like huge punk fans. So they're like way into like Warped Tour. And they were doing some shit. And they drove up that night and they were like stayed in our room on the floor. And I'm like, thinking back to it, I'm like, I would never sleep on a hotel floor.
No.
Like, fuck that.
Different times.
Yeah, different. 2006 was a different world, bro. Like,
man, I remember those days. You just did what you had to do to get there. You wanted to be a part of it. You know, I've slept on some hotel room floors using my backpack as a pillow and using like pulling the curtains off the wall to use as a blanket, that sort of deal. You just get there. The worst sunburn I've ever had in my life came from the Warped Tour in 2005. We went down to Atlanta And just imagine thinking you're tougher than the sun. But
Oh, I did.
back then, like you said, like nobody used sunscreen. Nobody knew what it was. So I was in like a black sleeveless Avenged Sevenfold t-shirt. I used to have hair down beyond my shoulders.
There you go.
But I didn't wear like a hat, a bandana, nothing. I just tucked my hair behind my ears all day. So then we get back to the hotel and my arms are just glowing. I mean, I was like fire engine red. And then because of my hair being tucked behind my ears, like I got out of the shower and like slicked my hair back, and I just had this triangle of red sunburn on my forehead. And it was the worst pain. I woke up, we drove down, we stayed a night, we went to the Warp Tour, we stayed another night just outside of Atlanta, and then we drove home on that third day. And I was driving home with like the really bad sunburn that like oozes a little bit on both arms. Yeah. Oh, so bad. Worst sunburn I've ever had.
Oh, God. I know this is weird, but I'm trying to send. Oh, shit. All right, this is going to work. I didn't think it was going to work, but it's going to work. I'm going to send you the picture of the sunburn I'm talking about.
All right.
And I have it. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah. And so you can comment on this in real time. Oh, shit. Texting it to you now.
Okay.
Your boy.
Oh, came through. Holy shit.
Bro, those are maroon. All right, so the picture I sent, I'm gonna show it to you. These are it. So
my God,
there's maroon boxers on. That's how fucking burn I was.
The tan line, that's where you see it, man.
It was nuts. Man, so
that's painful.
It was straight up lobster. Like, all right, so this is the situation. Like, we went to the show, right? And I was tripping out because I was like, "Oh shit, I get to see Radiohead for free," you know, because I didn't pay for the shit. All I had to do was get here. So, my whole shit was like, "Oh, I'm seeing this show where I want to see it."
Yeah,
and if you've never been to Bonnaroo, the big stage is usually like it does this weird thing where it like clears out and then it comes back in like a bunch of people. And I was like, no, fuck that. I'm staying in the same spot all day. Like, that's what I'm doing. And
you can't lose it that way.
Exactly. Well, I was wrong, but in the end, but yeah, that's what I was thinking at the time. I was like, all right, if I stay here, I'm good, But Adam was like, no, fuck that. I'm gonna go and see so and so. I'm gonna go see so and so, and I'm like, no, fuck that, dude. I'll keep the spot, And it happened that way until the lights went out on the stage, and then the whole 100,000 people or whatever fucking jumped to the front, like
shit,
bull rush, bro. And I was like, oh fuck, like it was like it was like a fucking Slipknot show, like for like 2 seconds, like everyone fucking going for it, and I was like, oh my God, like this is awful,
Man, I had a buddy that was a vendor at Bonnaroo selling hot dogs back in the day, and he used to share some stories that you just don't. It's almost like you don't believe, but basically just like people. He was like, I would have completely butt ass naked dudes come up to the hot dog stand, couldn't even utter a sentence to me because they were so fucked up.
100%.
And they would just hand me like a wad of cash, like $5 or $6, and I would just give them a hot dog and they would go on about their way.
Yeah.
It's just
it's
a wild
it's a thing,
scene,
man. Yeah, no, it's definitely, you know what? I'm gonna back your boys shit up. Like it is an experience. And I feel bad for kids now. Like, well, it's specifically this last year or whatever. Bonner is happening in August this year. So, but I don't think the projection I'm seeing, I don't think it's gonna happen, honestly.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the music industry right now. I mean, people are
Mhm.
just kind of on standby, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, uh, I'll tell you about it after the show, but like the where I work, uh, the social aspect of the world right now is
Don't get in
very,
trouble now. Don't
yeah,
get
I
in
know,
trouble.
right? I know, right? It's very much in the mix of conversation. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, man. I saw Lollapalooza this last like couple weekends ago, and I'm like,
Hmm.
that shit ain't gonna happen.
That
Like,
was some wild shit seeing the photos and the videos on social media that weekend. That's crazy.
please tell me you watched Limp Bizkit on
I
this
saw the
fucking
clips,
live
but
stream.
I didn't watch it. No. I just saw the photos and was like, I guess that's a thing that's happening now. I don't fucking know.
Oh
Whatever.
no, dude, the nostalgia running back to me on that one was
Mm.
like, oh my god, like I was like tempted to text like homies I haven't talked to in like 10 years. I was like, I'm
Just
like,
let them know.
yo, you see this shit?
Yeah.
Like, but I didn't do it. But
Man, this conversation is making me think that I missed out on a lot of stuff by never going to Bonnaroo. But now I feel like, you know, I'm 35 years old.
yeah.
That shit, it feels like has passed me by. Like I don't want to go stand out in a
Oh,
field shoulder to shoulder. I've never really been comfortable at shows, to be honest with you, because
mhm.
I'm 6'2", 280 pounds. Like I have a hard time working my way through crowds.
You think, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Like
You
I
know,
was always the
don't be
dude.
ashamed of that thing. You know what I'm saying? Don't be
I
ashamed of
was
that.
I was always the dude that would get to the show early and just find the back wall and just stand with my back to the wall for the
You know
entire
what,
time. It was like,
Stoney,
I'm not doing Bonnaroo with all that.
dude, you're not tripping. You know, maybe you missed out, but like Bonnaroo before 2010 was
Mm-hmm.
like a different thing than what it is now.
Oh,
Like,
really?
oh yeah. Like they extended their ticket range after that time. And
Yeah.
so there was way more people than should be in that
Whew.
space.
Yeah, I don't know
Um
about all that.
in before 2010 it was like tolerable, I guess. It
Mm-hmm.
was still gnarly. Like you're still shoulder to shoulder, but like if you stood in the back, you know, you could still, yeah, smoke your J's, drink your beers or whatever, and have a good time, like on a blanket or whatever. But like past that, it was a different game, dude. Like you're good. And
Okay.
if you ever want to do that shit, do it VIP, like straight up. Like don't fuck around with that GA shit.
Man, could you imagine our younger selves back in 2006 hearing us talking about, yeah, if you do it, do the VIP shit. We're like,
No.
yeah, we're fucking sleeping on hotel room floors just to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my whole opinion on I we did an episode recently about, I don't know when actually we did it, but me and my wife used to work for a business management firm in
Mm-hmm.
LA when she went to grad school, and then I was in LA for a year. We did like a year apart, but we're still together, but long distance, I guess you would say.
Yeah, sure.
And she went to grad school and then came out to LA. So, and when she got out there, she did a job, and then she got this business management firm job. So, the business management firm, they're two branches, I guess you would say. They've
Yeah.
been bought since now. Like the two main dudes retired, kind of. But their main aspects were actors and musicians.
Mm-hmm.
So there were like two dudes, right? And one of them was just like musicians, and one of them was actors, right? And she worked on the musician side of the firm, and we got a taste of what that means. Like during that whole time period. Like we got a chance to go. So one of her clients was the dude. One of their clients was the dude that is the head of Golden Voice. Okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So Golden Voice is the company that does Coachella, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And for like one of their things, we he give like a stack of tickets to the firm, like to give to all the employees and like their friends and family or whatever. And it wasn't just like, you know, like GA tickets. It was artist passes.
Man.
So yeah, it was
that's pretty rad.
It was fucking nuts. And I'll tell you about it like on some different shit, but like it's the shit we got to see. It's weird. It's like, all right, so let me differentiate like between artist passes and VIP. So and GA. So GA is some shit that you can just buy on the internet. VIP you can buy on the internet, you know. But artist passes are passes to a whole different entrance to the festival. They are a festival. They're the entrance to where the musicians enter to do the festival, right?
So your own access.
Yeah, it's your own thing, and the only way to get those is to one be a person performing or one of their guests, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you get these, you know, these weird offshoots like what my wife had, like, you know, somebody repping this company, like these bands or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's weird. Like you walk in with like motherfuckers you never see, you know, in real life. Like, and it's like an odd scene, you know, to being a normal person walking into that zone.
It is, man. And I've been in your shoes before with that. Kind of like you know, I might talk to you a little more about this when we're not recording. But being in that situation before, I've always felt like, holy shit, I don't belong here. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
It's a weird dynamic.
Yeah. You feel like you're in a different bracket. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, you know, and it's like, you feel, all right. So, all right, let's put it in perspective. You feel like you might be in like the Bud Light version of life, but you're walking into this, you know, 10% craft beer bullshit that's released once a year type of shit, you know.
Yeah.
And that is like it's a weird zone. Like you're walking in with like the fucking Camelback and motherfuckers are walking in with white suits, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's the whole dynamic. And you're like, all right, I don't fit here. I'm worried about my hydration. These motherfuckers are worried about their style. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm closer to like a Bud Light kind of guy than I am like once a year craft release guy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep it grounded. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, that was that. We'll talk more about that later. But that was you know, one of those things. You know, like back in that time where you're like, all right, this isn't normal, you know. This isn't this normal people don't get to do this shit. Like
that's the way to do it though.
True. It's a good story to tell. That's all I can say about it. But like it was definitely weird. And I got a couple stories from that I could blast on you, but I think I've said them before, so fuck it. But I kind of want to know. So you said a little bit about SoBros earlier, but like, I don't know, like why did you start SoBros? Like you're the dude. You're the fucking guy.
Man, I rewind it back to, you know, senior year of high school. You're you're 17, 18 years old, and society is telling you you've got to go to college and get a degree and figure out what the fuck you want to do with your life. And I wasn't ready for that, man. So I went to college, I got a degree in psychology, and then I was out for maybe 2 years, and I realized I don't want to do any of this stuff. Like I have always kind of had an entrepreneurial kind of spirit. At one point in my life, I thought I would take over my dad's shop whenever he was gone. But man, that's a hard life, fucking working on cars in the summer heat in Tennessee. And it never really worked out. I never had the talent that he had, so I couldn't have carried on the family name. And I wanted to go to grad school at one point to become a counselor. I was going to be a guidance counselor. I thought about getting an advanced degree and becoming a professor if I could, but I didn't want to take on $100,000 worth of debt at I graduated in 2008, so I would have been, I don't remember. I've had too much Bud Light to remember how to do math, but I was a young man. I didn't at a younger age, I didn't want to take on all this debt. Yeah. And so after a few years of just kind of toiling around aimlessly, like figuring out what I wanted to do with my life, I kind of realized, hey, I've always liked creating stories and I've always enjoyed writing. So I got into it, and having no experience, no credentials, no journalism degree or anything.
Yeah.
I just had to kind of find an avenue where I could just jump in and give it a shot. So I created a blog, and a couple of people read it. They liked it. They brought me on. I wrote for a few different websites early on in my writing career, and I just wasn't really fulfilled by it. And it was more, I felt like I was writing to hit a quota. I wasn't really writing to express that creative freedom that I had within me. So eventually, man, I just went all in and said, I want to try and give this a shot. I want to try and do it my way, by my rules. I don't want to please anybody else. And I wanted to create something that could be a community for creators to come express themselves without having to worry about the limitations that most websites and most professional journalism organizations put on people. So that was really it. And I've been critical of university and kind of putting that pressure on young people at such an early age to figure out the rest of their fucking life. Because for me, it did come later, before the light bulb went off, and I found the thing that I feel like I was born to do. So that was kind of the light bulb moment for me. It was just realizing I had this within me. It made me feel satisfied. It made me feel good to put something out into the world, as it was phrased to me once by a close personal friend that actually helped me build SoBro's network. It was just like, man, you're taking the time to work on stuff and you're putting it out into the world. And if even one person reads it and learns from it, or laughs at it, or is just generally entertained by it, that's a pretty cool thing. And that's kind of the spirit of how this whole thing started.
That's what's up. Yeah. I mean, you have to go back, way back in the history of Quick Fixer to see what the fuck this is all about. But like, I feel like that kind of happened with us too. Like, so it was 2007 or 8. And I was talking about, all right, so podcasts, okay, had just launched. They were a thing. And people didn't know what podcasts were back then. No. Just so everyone knows. And they were mostly like weird video clips. It was kind of like not Snapchat, but like what the fuck? What was that fucking app that died? Vine. It was kind of like Vine. Yeah. When it started, it was like little clips of shit. And I was like, yo, to my boys, I was like, yo, we need to start like a a podcast about like skateboarding, and I was like, we need like me and the homies. I was like, yo, we all love skating. We skate every day. We should talk about what the fuck's happening in skateboarding, and
Yeah.
it never happened. So like, I don't know why. Maybe I was too much of a bitch to do it, but like, uh, it came about. I started. Uh, we were in school, and I was like telling my boy Drew, I was like, "Yo, we kind of got grouped up. It was kind of weird. The only reason I know Drew, my partner, basically in quick
Yeah.
sister, is because is because we both took off at the same time. We said we were going to be away during our like, I don't know what year it was, but we're like, hey, we have this project due. We're gonna be away at this time. Like, can we get an extension? This is kind of fucking meta, bro. Like, I don't think I've said this before, but like, um, it was because of Bonnaroo. We were both gonna be at Bonnaroo,
Yeah.
and so, basically, me and Drew got paired up in this like video project thing with this other dude that didn't volunteer for any other of the groups, like me, him, and Thomas, this other guy.
Sure.
And Thomas works with homie Olin Rogers, who does fucking lots of shit. But go and check out that dude. You know who he is. But anyways.
Okay.
What the fuck is his show? Let me shout out my dude's show. Hold on.
Get it in.
I know I should, right? Only I'm fucking up. Like, anyway. Final Space. You know the show on CBS?
It sounds familiar. It's ringing a bell. Like I probably scrolled through.
Yeah, it's an animated show. Before that, my homie went to or did this shit called Balloon Shop, was like early YouTube shit. Kind of launched his career basically. So it was kind of like this weird, I don't know, like we were in school and we were in this one class. It was like me, Drew, Olin, Thomas, all these other dudes or people, right? And Olin was like basically famous at the time, like from fucking early YouTube shit. And we're like,
yeah,
this is weird. And
that wave was wild too, man. It made,
wild as fuck,
made
right?
people millionaires catching that first wave of YouTube shit.
And yeah, so this dude, shout out to him, but like he went to the same high school as my wife. So it was kind of like, it was really weird. And then the same year and shit, like weird. But anyway, we're in school together and we take off for this thing. So we all get grouped together for this thing. And just so happens like me and Drew become friends or whatever. And then later on in the line, I moved to LA in 2011.
Okay.
And 2000, maybe 12. I don't know. Some shit. Drew was editing some like fucking documentary or some bullshit for some deep Mississippi motherfucker.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, I'm gonna move to LA for like like a month. And like, can I stay with you? I need to learn where to live and also some blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, sick. And so he does that, and then he moves out to LA like the 2 months later. And after that, he's like, bro, you keep talking about this fucking podcast. Like, he's like, you keep talking about it. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, oh my God, it's so annoying. Like, I was like, man, fuck you. We're gonna do this shit. It's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
And he keeps talking shit. He keeps talking shit. And then we've gone and skated one day, and he comes where we used to have this like weird like ritual where we go and skate, and then we like get like chicken wings at B does like right afterwards.
There you go.
And,
protein.
right? I was like, all right, sick. And we usually grab a couple beers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And this one time he's like, you know what? You need to shut the fuck up. And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, all right, bro. I'm gonna put you on blast right now. Here we go. And hits record at the B dubs.
Like, oh shit.
Yeah, in fucking mid order. Like in the person that was taking our order was like at the table. I was like, fuck. Okay. And it's funny. Like I've heard the recording, obviously, but it's a weird thing. Like, I don't know if this happened to you, but like you kind of go from like just fucking around, but like in that recording, you can like audibly hear me turn on. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm on. And then like when the recording starts, when he says like, when he calls me on my bullshit, like it happens. And that was 2015 or 2014, maybe.
Man, I remember a similar thing happened to me. You know, it was like finally deciding to take that leap and then hitting record. I still have the first SoBros podcast we ever did back in 2013. I've got it saved somewhere on my MacBook. I haven't listened to it in quite a while, but I remember playing it back and like you can hear my voice shaking a little bit when I started.
Me too.
And then 5 minutes in, you start talking about what you pressed record to talk about. And it was like that, just flipping a switch and all of a sudden you're in on it.
Yeah. I remember. Let me talk about this with you. So we did that, right? And like soon after that, I moved apartments, but then like we officially started the show, right? And I remember getting so fucking nervous. Like that was like a pre-record, like, all right, this is just a tester. This isn't going to go anywhere type of thing. Like I remember the first time we actually recorded, I was hella nervous. I was like, all right, like, what are we going to do? We need to write topics. Like we need to like have a structure.
Yeah.
And like, I got so fucking nervous. I was like, all right, like I need some liquid courage. Like, let me get after these Stellas. Like I think we bought like a 12 pack of Stellas or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me crush a couple of these and like then we'll go. And I'm a much like bigger guy than Drew. So it was like, wasn't a thing for me, but like, I know I got crazy nervous like before. Cause I was like, I don't know about you, but like, I know you take it serious, but like, I was like, I don't like put my name on shit that's like jank. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and ultimately, I mean, your responsibility is still to create something entertaining for people to listen to. And, you know, if you take that responsibility seriously, then I think it does kind of create those butterflies. Like I still get them sometimes when I've got a big show coming up that I'll prepare for, and I'll have pages of notes to go through, and I'll still get those kind of butterflies. Like, man, I just want to make sure that I can do this so that we create something cool that people are going to like on the other side of it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it is for me. And I still, especially early on, well, I shouldn't say that. Early on, I was more or less just dicking around with friends, and it made it a little bit easier to have a few beers, loosen up a bit, and then just press record. I've had to delete several of those podcasts from back in the day because we got a little bit too loose. And it's a different world in 2021 than it was in 2013. But, you know, that was a different kind of vibe. And then as you see things kind of take off a little bit and you start getting more listeners and bigger opportunities present themselves to you, I think for me anyway, I still got those butterflies a little bit.
Mm-hmm. No, it happens. It definitely happens for us. Like, I don't know. I'm generally a pretty loose guy, like,
Yeah.
but
Well, that helps too. That helps having
yeah.
that sort of demeanor about you. It kind of lends itself to a more natural conversational tone. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's like you're a pretty easy guy to talk to.
I
So I
appreciate
think
that, brother.
that's a skill that helps you tremendously.
I
So
appreciate that.
hopefully that kills the butterflies a little bit, but I know that's not always the case. It's easier said than done.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, it'll kill the butterflies for sure. Like, especially if you have some like, some random people that you never met before.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like my boy Drew's brought on some people that I've never met before. Like, well, I'm about to name drop some motherfuckers for you.
Let's hear it.
Um, hmm, I bet. Oh yeah. Um, so we had on back a year ago. Man, it's crazy. But we had back on about a year ago the Bigfoot Collectors Club.
Oh
Which,
shit.
do you know who they are?
I've heard of them. Yeah.
Oh shit.
They're
Okay.
linked in the Bigfoot subreddit, which I don't know if I should be ashamed to admit I lurk on sometimes or not, but yeah.
Love it. Love it. So my boy Drew is friends with those dudes, and like Michael McKillen or McMillan, sorry, and Bryce Johnson. Like
Mm-hmm.
Bryce wasn't on the show, but Michael was, and he was on, I think it was an episode of Happy Hour. Yeah, that makes sense. And it was kind of nuts. Like I was like tripping. Like I
Yeah.
saw Michael on motherfucking True Blood back in the day, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, like this is this dude. Like I'm talking to this dude.
Yeah.
Also, I mean his fucking character was terrible, like terrible character, but like
So you're like, how do
but
we address that?
yeah, well, like I didn't address it at the time. I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm down with
Stay
that.
away from it.
Yeah. And but I gotta shout out my other homie on there though. Riley Bray. Riley was the dude that got us like in the mix. Like he's the one who produces the show.
Yeah.
And we would have had all three of the homies on, but we didn't. And that was like it was one of the situations like what you're saying is like you don't know people, and then like you drop into
Yeah.
the conversation. Like, what do you do to break the ice? Like, I don't. It's kind of weird. Like before this show, me and you had like a 5-minute conversation.
Yeah.
We've never met. I've never met
Mhm.
these dudes. Like it was like I don't know. I appreciate you saying like it's I don't know. I feel like I might have been always been like one of these people you can easily talk to. Like I feel like
Sure.
in middle school and shit, like people who would tell me shit that they probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And and that kind of has always carried, honestly. Like
Yeah.
but it's one of those things I'm like, as you get older, you're like, well, does this shit actually matter what they said? Like, fuck, I don't know. But shout out to Bigfoot Collectors Club. Like they're pretty cool.
I think the most nervous I've ever been recording a podcast, I think of three things right off the top of my head. Well,
Mm.
one's not really a podcast. I got approved by the NFL to cover the Super Bowl this year.
Oh shit, really?
And so
The
I got
upcoming
in
one?
the one back in February,
Last
the
one.
Bucks Chiefs. Yeah.
Brady. Okay.
And they let me into all the virtual press conferences and everything. And I was like, man, I can't do this and not at least try and get my name in somewhere and ask a question.
Have to.
So the Chiefs had Trevarius Ward at the podium answering questions, and I just hit the little button to raise my hand and Zoom. And sure enough, they called on me. And for a split second, I just fucking froze. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And then I was sitting the whole time he was talking, I was sitting there rehearsing my question just in case something like that happened. And I was able to get it out, but I still listen back to the video and I'm like, you know, at this point, I've been doing this for almost 8 years. And that was one thing that still kind of shocked me. It was like, I'm here on this stage kind of deal.
Yeah.
The other being, I had a guy that covered indie wrestling for me for quite a while. And we did a podcast interviewing local indie wrestlers. And there's a wrestler by the name of Nick Iggy out of Knoxville. Super nice guy, really, really fun guy to be around. But I didn't know him that well, but my guy did. So he was set to interview this guy, and we get together and get all the podcast equipment going, and we can't get a connection with all three of us on the same line. So ultimately he looks at me and he's like, you're going to have to do the interview or we're going to lose it. And I was like, are you fucking kidding
one-on-one?
me? Yeah. And I had no preparation whatsoever, no notes, nothing. I was set to just produce, you know, write down timestamps if somebody slips up and I need to edit it out and, you know, get the commercial breaks in, that sort of thing. And all of a sudden I was just kind of thrust into it. And that did make me kind of nervous, but luckily, man, wrestlers are so used to being in front of the camera and being on a microphone that it was just easy as pie. And we knocked that episode out, and it ended up being one of the favorite podcasts I've ever done.
Oh shit.
So yeah. And then interviewing Dennis Kelly, who played for the Tennessee Titans, right tackle from I think 2016 through 2020. He's now with the Green Bay Packers, but he hopped on the podcast once, and I was like, man, this is it's just one of those moments where you're like, it's crazy to think back when I was recording for like 10 people and now I'm interviewing NFL players. So those butterflies still come, but you know, it's like I coach the team as best as I can to trust in yourself, and like you're in this spot for a reason. You've done it for as long as you have for a reason. It's like our film critic Brandon. We were doing we had a table set up at a wrestling show one day selling action figures and t-shirts and all kinds of shit and taking pictures and just writing about the tournament, that sort of thing. But it was going on at the same time as the Nashville Film Festival. And he had a couple of people reach out about doing interviews on SoBro's network. And I told him, like, let's do it. That's always our spirit, is just like, let's do whatever we can to make cool shit. So we will figure out how to make it happen. And we actually took an interview with somebody the same day as this tournament that we're set up at. So the two of us in the middle of this wrestling tournament, I leave the booth to one of the other SoBros contributors, and they're manning the merch. And we go out to my car, and we're just sitting in the hot sun, you know, locked car. You know, somebody was about to bust the window on us to get us out and save us. But we're in there with our phone, and we're just looking at each other like, can you believe we're doing this? And we were both kind of sweating bullets about it. But I just said, hey, just trust that your voice, through all the practice, the years of doing it, it's going to carry you and it's going to kick in naturally. And then the director no-showed the interview, so we didn't even have to worry about it at all. Just illustrating a point there, that if you do get that level of comfort with yourself, and if you are that sort of natural interviewer, and if it's easy for people to talk to you, that can carry you. And I think that helps those butterflies in situations like that.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, can you hold on one sec?
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, resume recording. Yeah, let's talk. Sorry, I had to stop. Fucking,
that's all good, man.
His talk hands killing me. I was like, I think I can hold it for the rest of the episode. Not a good call. You know, better off not pissing yourself at the seat. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, man. That's good. Good rule to live by.
Back in the early days of Quick Sixer, we used to, like, Drew, both of us actually would be like, oh fuck, all right, so early days of this particular shit, we call it the Quick Sixer Collective now because we have multiple branches, but with Brittany on board and with Adam on board, but and different shows and stuff. But we used to do this thing where Quick Sixer meant um, 6 beers, 6 topics.
Oh
So
shit. Okay.
yeah,
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
in theory, that's cool. But if you're trying to record an hour-long podcast where you both drink 6 beers
Well,
and you try to do a coherent podcast,
yeah.
it's a pretty
Yeah.
rough go. And
Been there before with well, maybe not a 6-pack of beer, but we've definitely killed a bottle of whiskey between like 2 or 3 of us before on a show.
ooh, that might
And
be
by the end,
heavier.
luckily I had the wherewithal to be like, yo, we are just straight up slurring our words, not even making
Yeah.
sense, saying
Yeah.
terrible things about people we know. We just need to get off. Just need to get out. And some of those podcasts never saw the light of day.
Yeah. We've only done uh one show. We used to do shows with like guests and shit, like in person, obviously back in the day. But
Yeah.
we did one show where we did a 0.5 episode. So it was like a
Okay.
solid episode, and then we were like, fuck it, let's record again. We're having fun. That episode has never been listened to by anyone besides me and Drew. And it's rough.
Have you ever just like turned on the mics, not even planning to record, just like, hey, these are here, you're hanging out with people, you're having a good time, and you're like, let's just turn these on and see what happens.
Yeah. So the first time we recorded an episode of that B-Dubs, that was what happened. And for what we thought was going to be our finale for this entire thing, so I think we did back in the day, me and Drew did seasons, because we did like a season 1 where and then we did a season 2. Season 2 was way more ambitious, I would say. We had sponsors, like actual like beer sponsors. We also went on a brewery tour, which we went and yeah, it was sick. It was just, dude, it was the shit. I'm gonna be honest with it. It was the shit. We were both living in LA, and we got to go and record live in person in breweries with the brewers.
Oh shit, that's awesome. That's cool.
It was the dopest shit. And we did that with like, I think like 5 or 6 breweries. It was fucking awesome. Shout out to McLeod. They were our first people that let us do it. They're the dopest people ever. Jen and Alistair, they're the dopest. But anyway, we got to do that, and then we started getting more sponsors and more whatever, and that was pretty cool. But then at the end, we got there's Drew's talked about it a bunch of times, but like we got this sponsor with Lagunitas.
Okay.
And Lagunitas is the dopest fucking company ever. Like, go and support them, please. Like, go.
I enjoy their IPA. I enjoy their
man.
IPA.
It's a standout IPA, if I have to say anything. But go support Lagunitas. They're the shit. They're doing the right shit. Anyway, we had this sponsor with them, and they hit us up and they were like, hey, like, we're not going to send you shit, but you can go to our distributor and we have an order for you ready. And we're like, all right, rad. So I go down there, and a forklift lifts cases of beer into my trunk. It's not kidding. Like a forklift.
Yeah.
And I was so excited about it that I ran a red light in LA. And I get a $500 ticket for it. So it paid for the fucking red lights in LA are no shit. Like, don't fucking do that. But anyway,
I've heard.
Yeah, I was tripping though, but I was so excited. And the picture they sent me, and then they send you a picture of you running the red light.
Mm-hmm.
My fucking smile was ear to ear, and because I'm so excited, and I'm talking to Drew on the phone as I fucking ran it. So
Yeah.
he trips out on it, but we had this whole big blowout bash for I think it was episode 25 of season 2. The apartment I was living in, you could rent out like they had these like rooftop cabana type of deals. Like you could rent
Okay.
out like a barbecue type
Okay.
of thing.
Yeah.
And you could rent them out. Like you like, hey, I'm reserving this for this amount of time. And so we had this like I was moving, so we had this like abundance of beer, and I was like, "Fuck, like I can't. I would love to take this, like no shit, but I can't drink all this beer. Like, let's invite the homies over and let's have an episode."
Kill it.
And yeah, well, we tried, but
Good old fashioned beer purge.
bruh, we went. There was a Target across the street, like literally across the street, and we lived on this street, Colorado Boulevard, which is the street that they do the Rose Parade on.
Oh,
And
okay. Okay.
yeah, it's super cool. And on the corner across the street was a Target. And me and Drew were like, fuck, how are we gonna make all this beer cold? Like we have cases and cases. Like, I'm not fucking
Yeah.
kidding you. They gave us so much beer. Like, I think it was 144 bottles of beer.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, I was like, that's why I was so happy,
Damn.
you know. I was like, oh my
Well,
god, this is
yeah.
the
That's a
greatest shit ever.
score.
Yeah, and shout out to all of them. They're the greatest people. But we ended up, me and Joe were like, you know what? A fucking light bulb. Let's buy a kiddie pool. And so we buy a
There you
kiddie
go.
pool and across the street at Target, and then fill it with ice
Man.
and put all the beer in there. And
Yeah.
then have all the homies over. So our last episode, which we thought was going to be the last episode of all of Quick Sixer,
Mhm.
was 4 hours long. And yeah. And yeah. And it was, we had all these people over at the fucking
Yeah.
thing. And in LA, you can, smoke weed, you can drink beers or whatever. You do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But, so that was all happening in this
Man.
4-hour stream of consciousness you can watch on YouTube right now if you want to.
I was about to say, is it still up there?
It's still up. Part
Nice.
1 through 10. Back in the day, you had to cut YouTube into bits, so it's like it's literally part 1 through whatever, and
that's amazing.
That's
fucked. Amazing.
It's like 4.5 hours long for real.
Oh, shit.
Right, go check that out if you want to.
Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah, for real. It's crazy. I'm probably blackout drunk like 3 hours out, like easily.
Yeah.
But speaking of blackout drunk though, and you just mentioned Titan Stadium.
Yeah.
I read word for word your Garth Brooks experience recently.
Dude, it was so bad.
I really, really want to hear the stadium packed fucking lightning storm Stoney Keeley experience of a Garth Brooks concert before we sign off of this.
Man, it was crazy. I didn't even want to go to the show to begin with. And then we got there. We had to kind of wrestle our way into the stadium. And I was kind of feeling uneasy about everything to begin with, because, at the time we had decided to go to this show, it was like, well, things are getting better. They're telling us, you're vaccinated, don't wear your mask, that sort of thing. And then the week of the show, it was all this Delta stuff started really bubbling back up again. So I'm like walking by people like, stay the fuck away from me, don't touch me, that sort of thing. And it was a journey just to get to our seats. But when we finally do, we're watching the Grand Ole Opry at Nissan Stadium, which is pretty cool. It was like Chris Young, and then Emmylou Harris and Trisha Yearwood came out and sang with Emmylou Harris. And the whole time I'm sitting there looking off in the distance. I'm like, man, that's there's some dark clouds over there. I'm kind of surprised nothing's, nobody's saying anything about this. And a stadium full of people, I'm looking over like, am I the only one that notices there's some lightning off in the distance? So sure enough, man, we get the warning, and then they just cram us all into the concourse. And at that point, I just accepted. I'm like, I'm gonna have to clear the next 2 weeks. I'm gonna have to see if I can get my last will and testament done just in case. It was bad, and it was hot, and there were people there that were, luckily for whatever reason, like I had kind of big crowd like that. I wasn't sure how the evening was going to go. Not saying I was prepared to get in a fist fight if I had to, but I wanted to stay kind of sound in mind. So I had only had like 1 or 2 beers at that point. And it's a good thing I did, because man, there were some really drunk people that were dropping like flies when we were packed into that concourse. I felt so bad for those EMTs. And so they finally, like, they turned us loose in this lightning storm. And we had made the decision to drive to Midtown, because we didn't want to pay for the parking at the stadium, and lift over to Nissan Stadium. So now all of a sudden, it's like 10 o'clock at night. It's dark outside in a lightning storm, and we're just walking around the stadium like, what the fuck? We can't get a lift. We can't get an Uber because the apps were all jammed.
Yeah.
We get around to the end of the stadium, and then the bottom just falls out again. And it's just pouring down rain. And we took cover under some metal stairs that they had installed for the Music City Grand Prix that was right there. It was the only place we could get out of the rain. I'm like, this is it. This is how I'm going to die. I came down to this Garth Brooks show at Nissan Stadium to die. And all in all, man, we were on our feet for, we got to our seats probably around 7:30, and we're back up around 8 and on our feet until about midnight. We had finally decided we're hunkered down under these stairs, and we're just soaking wet. And we're like, we've just got to go for it. We've either got, and I kept saying, let's just fucking walk to Midtown, because no Uber driver is going to let us in their vehicle soaking wet. So that changed to, well, let's just make it across the bridge, and then we can get under the bridge, dry off a little bit, and by then we'll be good to get in somebody's Uber. Didn't happen, man. You couldn't get a ride anywhere downtown that night. And we finally lucked out and got in some dude's Uber, and it was $67 from 2nd Avenue to Midtown, like not even 2 miles up the road. And it was $70. So I was so pissed, and I felt bad because we did not dry off. We were so soaking wet. I felt so bad getting in that dude's car, because when I got out, I couldn't even look at him. I couldn't even look at him when I got out of the car. I just got out, shut the door, and just took off around the block. And we finally made it back to the car around 12:30 in the morning. So all in all, probably, I think we were shuffling around for about 5 hours stranded. And I was just miserable, man. It was fucking crazy.
Oh shit.
Some old dude came up to me and asked me to show him my titties.
I love that.
I was like, I can't, my fiance's here, she'll get mad at me. And he just looked at me and gave me the okay, like that's an acceptable answer.
Yeah, I mean, that is acceptable, I guess, but like probably should have done it. No, I
Just
read the whole
scene.
Yeah, go ahead and check out SoBro's network for Twitter for the fucking full story of that. I read the whole thing. I was tripping, like literally laughing like I just did at the fucking article.
That's the only good thing that came out of it. By the time we got home, I collapsed into my recliner, and I was just thinking, like, I've got to write about this. That's the only good thing that can come out of all this.
Yeah, I mean, that's anyway, any triumph or tragedy, like that's basically the only thing that happens. Like you get to talk about it or write about it.
Yeah.
But I was tripping when I know. So Brittany, who does Brews and Reviews for us was telling us like she tried to go, and I was like, that's fucking stupid. Like I was like
Man.
at home, and like this shit was, the whole sky was lighting up. I was like, fuck that. I didn't even
Yeah.
know there was a show that night. And then she was like, yo, I tried to go to the show last night. It was crazy.
There was like an 18% chance of rain that day.
Yeah. And it was
So we're like, yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Full blown. This shit looked like 4th of July in this bitch. Like it was lightning every 4 seconds.
Yeah.
I was tripping. I was like, this is crazy. Like I know, like me and my wife were sitting at home and like, oh shit, this is a crazy lightning storm. Like, I don't know. People in the South are weird about lightning storms too. Like they'll go out on their porch and shit and watch them. Like
film
like,
it.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You guys are crazy.
No, man. There were times we were packed into the concourse and it would lightning like right above us and make this loud crashing noise, and people would just gasp and scream. And I'm like, damn, this is like a fucking war zone right now.
Yeah.
Getting kind of nervous about all that.
Yeah. In your article, you said, what do you call it? Article?
I don't remember.
Op-ed,
I think it was
maybe?
my firsthand account of Nissan Stadium that Saturday night.
Okay. Well, in it, you said you recollected your experience about running across the pedestrian bridge. Yeah. Which in Nashville, if you've never been to Nashville, the pedestrian bridge is a fucking steel bridge that goes across the Cumberland River.
Yeah. So we're hiding under metal stairs, and then we make a run for it across a giant metal bridge. Yeah.
I was like, bro, if you motherfuckers were lemmings, like you bitches would be dead. Like you just straight up like this.
I thought for sure. I was like, man, this is it. If this is how I die, what a fucking story.
When I was reading it, I was like, I think you said those exact words like twice in the thing. Yeah. And I'm like, this man accepted this shit. Like, and he was I'm gonna die. Like,
it was weird, man, because I definitely made light of it in the story, but there was a part of me that like survivalist starts kicking in where you're like, we just got to figure out how to get to fucking safety right now, because this shit is not safe.
For sure. That has happened to me a couple of times in my life, unfortunately. Man. One time, dude, Brett, all right, I'm gonna hit you with this quick story. Before we go, there's this one time I was working on, what was it? Yeah. Okay. It was America's Next Top Model, season 21.
Okay.
And I was on the morning crew. Okay. And we were up at this house, like towards like those later seasons, they stopped doing like 2 seasons a year. So we focused on 1 season, and we were in this house that happened to be in the Hollywood Hills that overlooked the valley. So there's a mountain range in between Hollywood and the valley. So valley, I guess for people who would know, like Clueless, that's the valley. Okay.
The Valley
the movie
Girls.
Yes, Valley Girls.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's just literally a few miles. Anyway, we're in this in this house, right? This fucking mansion, right? And this earthquake happens. And
shit.
Yeah, earthquakes happen all the time in California. So it's not like crazy, but like it happens.
Okay.
And but my wife had just moved there. And I'm telling you right now, this shit, it was still dark out. Okay. Like we're talking like 5, 6 in the morning, like some shit like that.
Yeah.
And it does this earthquake, and I'm already at the house, and it earthquakes and wakes her up. And our cats are, we have two cats, and they're freaking the fuck out, like freaking
Yeah.
out. And I'm talking like running into walls and like mirrors and shit, like just being weird as fuck,
Oh,
like
damn.
super random. And then like some shit they never done and haven't done since. And she just like wakes up and calls me and she's like, "What the fuck is happening?"
No. Oh no. Oh
She had
man.
no idea why she was awake. And like I was
Yeah.
like, "Yo, it was just an earthquake, no big deal." She's like, "What the fuck? What the fuck is this?" Like, freaking out. 6 o'clock in the morning.
I can imagine, man.
I was tripping. I was like sitting there, like, doing my fucking bullshit at the house, like
Mhm.
preparing for the morning. And it was just like not a big deal to me.
Used to it.
Yeah, we didn't. I mean, by the time I was out there, like at that point, I had multiple, like little whatever shakes and shit.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I know they don't have it here, so you might not have ever experienced it, but it's kind of
No.
weird.
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
the
it's
whole ground, like everything shakes and shit for like, but like it's not like oh, like it's more of like oh, okay, like some shit like
kind of
shifted,
kind of feel disoriented a little bit.
a little bit, like
Yeah.
nothing crazy, but like it's
Hmm.
just weird. But that particular thing, I might have laughed at her, honestly. I
Yeah.
felt bad. I feel bad now thinking about it, but like I might have laughed. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I laughed at my fiance once because she's from Jersey and had never experienced a tornado until she came
Mm,
down here. And down here, like, yeah, you're cognizant of the dangers of the tornado, but you
yeah,
kind of know, you kind of develop a sense living in Tennessee for so long, like how to how to handle it and knowing when to take it seriously, when to take
yeah.
shelter, those sorts of things. And there was a tornado that had touched down like 30 miles away from where we were, and she was like freaking out, like black sky. She's like, we need to get the mattress and we need to get in the bathtub now. I'm like,
Oh shit.
we're good. We're good. This is 30 miles away. We'll be fine. But
Yeah.
I got a kick out of that. Similar
Yeah.
kind of deal.
Yeah. No, 100%. Uh, just touching on it a little bit, but like we live kind of close together actually. Um, you didn't know this, I don't think, but we live pretty close.
Really?
Yeah, I'm in Old Hickory. So
Okay. Yeah. So I'm
yeah,
out,
like
I'm out in
right
Mount
down the
Juliet.
street.
So we're, yeah,
Yeah. But like that tornado that ripped through here like a year or two ago,
dude.
that shit was nuts, bro.
We were living in Hermitage at the time, and
Yeah.
we were on the third floor of an apartment complex with like nowhere to go, and it ripped like right through, not even maybe a mile, closer to half a
Yeah.
mile down from us, just leveled the neighborhood. And we were, man, that was a scary night too, being, you
Hell
just wake
yeah.
up in the middle of the night and the whole building shaking, and then you realize, oh fuck, this tornado, this is like right down the road.
Yeah.
So we took cover in our pantry, and um we lived in an apartment complex with like the big glass sliding doors. So in the middle of this thing, I just kind of peek out of the pantry to see, like, man, do we need to be worried? And you can't even see outside.
No.
It's just a big gray cloud going
Mm-hmm.
by, and you can vaguely make out like the orange from the street light. And it's just, I'll never forget seeing it. And then when everything started to clear up, just seeing debris and tree limbs and everything flying by
Mm-hmm.
our back door. And it was another one of those situations where that fight or flight kind of kicks in. And I'm just standing bracing the door frame of the pantry,
Yeah.
and I'm hearing the wood creak and twist above us, and I'm just like hoping that this thing doesn't give way, because if it does, the roof blows off this
You
place, we're both
fucked.
goners. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a crazy
Nah.
experience. And there are a lot of people out there that had it a lot worse than we did. And
Sure.
I'm grateful that we made it out okay, but that was still a pretty harrowing experience.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. um, yeah, it was. I mean, that shit was nuts, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you probably live near us then. Like, it was only exit like 21 or whatever towards Hermitage. Like,
Yeah.
that's the exit we get off to go to
Yeah.
home. You know.
We lived at the time we were living just right down the road from the hospital.
Oh shit, we get off the same exit then. Like at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Um,
And then we moved into a neighborhood that was hit by it too. And I can stare out my office window and see the path that the tornado went through the
that's
neighborhood. So
crazy.
it's
Yeah.
wild.
People that actually we mentioned them earlier, but my boy Orlin got he owned the soda parlor in the East Nashville.
Okay. Yeah.
And that shit got leveled. That shit's not coming back. So
Sad.
yeah. So yeah, my boy did final space and went to school with him, bullshit, whatever. Yeah, that was that dude. So it's crazy, dude. Like shit like that happens that you would never expect.
And
You know what I'm saying?
the strangest thing about the tornado is that it's just over and done with in a matter of seconds.
Boom.
And it can go through a neighborhood and one house will be completely leveled and the one right next to it is standing perfectly fine. It's just the most bizarre, surreal experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird. Like especially Mount Juliet, the shit that school that's like blown apart out there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's still parts of it in rubble that they just haven't been able to get to it. Man, it's crazy.
Yeah. But anyways, is there anything you want to say about SoBro's network before we sign off?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody is interested, SoBrosNetwork.com, at SoBros Network on all major social media platforms. Pretty easy to find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, you guys cover basically if you're in Nashville, go and check it out. Like if you're visiting Nashville, go and check it out. You know what I'm saying?
It's a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Yeah, for sure. Especially with you guys got heavy on the sports shit. Which is dope. Do you guys follow any of the concert shit that's happening or no?
We've got one of our guys, Stephen McCash, that covers live music in Nashville on a monthly basis. So like at the beginning of every month, he'll put out a piece that's kind of highlighting, hey, here's who's coming to town this month. Here's where they'll be and what time, that sort of thing.
For sure.
Yeah. And I think he does a pretty close to weekly column on new music releases, but that's about it, man. I never ventured into the music writing myself.
What's up? That's what's up. Well, anyways, I really appreciate you coming on here.
Anytime.
This has been fun, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man. We've been going too. We just looked at the clock and was like, oh shit.
That's what, yeah. Just got a text like, yo, you done, bro?
I haven't even had dinner yet. I'm like,
I know,
man.
right? We gotta go eat. We grew up in the South. We gotta eat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I didn't get thick by skipping meals. Hell no.
Hey, yo, this is a side question, but like, do you know about barbecue competitions?
I know that they exist.
Cool.
That's about it.
I didn't know they existed until my family was like involved in that world.
Oh, okay.
Until we moved to Memphis when I was a kid, and they got involved in that shit.
Man,
and I was like,
it's crazy. Yeah.
It's competitive, bro.
It's intense.
This is kind of crazy. People might not know this, but like, obviously people probably like thought about there's, barbecue competitions, there's food competitions all over the world.
Yeah.
But like Memphis in May is the barbecue competition for the world, right?
Yeah.
And on Friday nights, the main competition for that festival is a party competition.
Oh shit.
Did you know about this?
No.
Okay. So it's legit like who is like the crunkest fucking booth.
Man.
It's fucking nuts. Like
I can't cook my barbecue, but I feel like I could hold my own in that kind of competition.
Dude, before social media, this shit would have got canceled hardcore. Like,
Yeah.
No shit. Like I saw some shit as a kid I should not have ever seen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you walk up on a booth and I mean this is kind of fucked, but like you see some body parts as a child you probably should not have seen. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
You're like, oh fuck. Like
we're there. We're on that level.
We're on that level. And like I've seen some shit that I'll never speak about because like, you know what? Props to you for doing that. You're showing out for your team. You're putting points on the board. You know what I'm saying? Like you trying to get that trophy.
Going for it. Going for it.
Trophy, go ahead and get that trophy. Guy, girl, whatever. Get it.
Yeah.
Party. Anyways, Stoney, I appreciate it. It's kind of wild, your fucking real name is Stoney. That's the dopest shit I ever heard.
It is. Yeah. It's on my ID. Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on here. And shout out to that Anheuser-Busch, that Budweiser family.
Yeah, I can't believe I finished this whole can. We're good. Good to go.
Been finishing. I was like, I
tried to take it slow. Then I was just like, it's just calling to me. So
there's no point. You can't let this shit go slow.
No.
If it gets warm, it's not good.
It's game over.
Yeah. I don't know if you fuck with Mount Juliet Beer Company, but you need to go.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite beer shops.
That's the homies right there.
Yeah.
They I'll hit you up with a list of shit I get next time I go. But
hell yeah.
They might have this. I don't know, but like they got some shit. I've learned throughout this whole experience of Quick Sixer that like some beers were actually designed to get warm.
Really?
Yeah, it's really weird.
I never knew that.
Yeah. Some beers are, well, I mean, most beers from the jump were like designed to drink at room temp. But
okay.
I mean, because they didn't have fucking coolers, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. Damn, I never put two and two together.
It's weird. Like I didn't really until we were like getting deep into getting random shit, but like it's weird. It's like sometimes I'll let like sometimes you sip on some heavy shit,
Yeah.
And you're like, oh fuck, like I wonder, like sometimes I'll get some beers from some people and then like, all right, like let this shit, like cool this shit, you know what I'm saying? But like when you pour it, kind of just like take your time with it, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, cool. But there's some weird. I'll hit you up and let you know what's up.
Yeah, let me know. Give me that list. Give me that list.
I'll send you one that the beer company had recently, and I was like, this might be the best stout I've ever had in my life. And
I love a good stout.
Dude, it's crazy. It's a 10%, but it's fucked. But
man, anyway. You know what? Mount Juliet Beer Store comes in clutch with the pipe tobacco. That's my spot for pipe tobacco.
You fuck with the humidor over there, huh?
Yeah, I do.
That's what's
it's
up.
A good spot. Good spot.
Yeah. No, shout out to them. I always tag them in our shit, but like they really do got the good selection.
Yeah.
And anyways, go ahead and shout out your shit before we sign out of this thing.
Yeah, SoBrosNetwork.com, at SoBros Network on all major social media platforms. We're not too hard to find on these internet streets out here.
Love that. And if you got anybody you want to see on the Quick Sixer podcast or any of the other shit we do, go ahead and quicksixerpodcast@gmail.com. Email us. Go and check us out on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Subscribe, whatever you want to do. I don't give a fuck. But it's your boy Pat Harris. This is Stoney Keeley. This is SoBros Network. This is Quick Sixer Podcast. Combined, it's your boys. We out.